Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss about epidemiological problems. And the first problem is, in a PHC of population 20,000, data of X disease for the year 2000 is as follows. So these are the figures. Case of X diseases on 1/1/2000 is 3,100, and total number of new cases in 2000 is 800. Cases which died during 2000 with the particular X disease is 200, and 600 were declared as cured. Now our problem is calculate point prevalence as on 1/1/2000 and 31/12/2000, and period prevalence of the year 2000, incidence for the year 2000, case fatality rate of X disease, and specific death rate for the year 2000, and also your comments. What is your opinion about this particular pattern? And coming to the solutions, first we are going to deal with the point prevalence as on 1/1/2000. On that day the population is 20,000. Total cases new plus old as on that day is 3,100. So point prevalence is equal to total cases as on 1/1/2000 by population into 100. That is 3,100 by 20,000 is the population into 100. The answer is 15.5% of the population. Point prevalence is 15.5% of the population. And when we are coming to 31/12/2000, population is also 20,000 on the 31/12. Total cases as on 1/1 is 3,100. Total new cases reported in between 1/1/2000 to 31/12/2000 is 800, and the cases which died are 200, and which were cured for that period is 600. So total cases as on 31/12 will be 3,100 plus 800 minus 600 plus 200. That is, there is nullification. 800 and the 6 plus 2 is again 8. 800 minus 800, 0. So total cases as on is 3,100. So the answer will be 3,100 by 20,000. Population is reduced by 200 here. So 2,000 minus 200 into 100, that is 15.66% of the population. That is the point prevalence as on 31/12. Is it clear? You understood this, I think. So here we have to minus the number of deaths, and before coming to the total number of cases, we have to add and then delete whoever are treated and death cases. And coming to the period prevalence for the year 2000, total population is the same. Total cases as on 1/1 is 3,100. Total new cases reported between 1/1 to 31/12 is 800, and total cases as during the year 2000 is 3,100 plus 800, that will come to 3,900. So the calculation will be total cases during the year 2000 by the population into 100. That is 3,900 by 20,000 into 100, which is coming to period prevalence is 19.5% of the population. Next is incidence of the disease for the year. If here we take the population 20,000, new cases 800, total new cases by population into 100 is the incidence. 800 by 20,000 into 100, that is equal to 4% of the population. The incidence is 4% of the population. Case fatality rate of the particular X disease is calculated by the formula total number of deaths due to a particular disease by total number of cases which are suffering with the same disease into 100. That is 200 is the deaths by 3,900 is the total cases during the year into 100. So case fatality rate is 5.12%. Now we'll move to the specific death rate. So population is 20,000, cases died is 200. Total number of deaths due to a particular disease by population into 1000, we get the specific death rate. So 200 by 2000 into again 1000, it is coming to 10 per 1000 population. Specific death rate is 10 per 1000 population. And coming to our comments, case fatality is 5% and incidence of the disease is 4% of the population. Needs screening of risk population by highly sensitive diagnostic method followed by specific confirmatory tests to assess the disease burden. So we have to develop a screening test of screening the population at risk, and the diagnostic method should be highly sensitive and specific. Coming to the second question of the epidemiology, a case of measles was reported from a family consisting of 6 members. 2 were parents and 4 were children, susceptible children. Within a period of 5 days, 2 other children also developed the disease. So what happened? One case appeared in a family of 6, which formed 2 parents and then 4 susceptible children, and within a period of 5 days, 2 other children also developed the disease. Now we have to calculate the secondary attack rate. What is the importance of it? What is your action plan as a medical officer in that particular PHC? So secondary attack rate, we have to calculate first. Total number of children including measles case is 4. Total number of susceptible person in the family is 3 children because 1 is already infected. Total number of susceptible exposed is also equal to the number 3. So total number of children, out of the 3, 2 developed measles. That means number of exposed persons developing the disease is the secondary attack rate within the range of incubation period. That is important. So we are calculating the secondary attack rate. That is, secondary attack rate is equal to number of exposed persons developing the disease within the range of the incubation period by the total number of exposed into 100. That is 2 by 3 into 100, that is equal to, secondary attack rate is equal to 66.67%. Now coming to the importance. What is the importance of secondary attack rate? It is measure of communicability of the disease. It helps in evaluating the effectiveness of control measures like isolation and immunization, and helps in understanding a disease of unknown origin in is it communicable or not. So these are the things we can know. This is the importance. And now what is your action plan? So what all we have to take the steps? Survey all villages under our PHD jurisdiction. That is, you are the medical officer there. So you have to have a survey of all the sub-centers which are coming under you. Following control measures shall be implemented. What are the measures we are going to take? All cases identified shall be isolated for 7 days after onset of rash. That is the incubation period. So every disease you must be aware of the incubation period. And immunization of contacts within 2 days of exposure. So within 2 days we can immunize. If vaccine is contraindicated, immunoglobulin should be given within 3 to 4 days of exposure. Next is prompt immunization at the beginning of an epidemic is essential to limit the spread. So coming to the contacts. Susceptible contacts over the age of 9 to 12 months may be protected against measles with measles vaccine provided that this is given within 2 days of exposure. All the cases declared as measles shall be followed up by giving vitamin A solution and nutritional supplements. So in addition to the vaccine, we are also giving vitamin A solution and nutritional supplements. And now in detail I want to tell about the secondary attack rate. Secondary attack rates are defined as the number of exposed persons developing the disease within the range of the incubation period following exposure to a primary case. So first one case is there during the incubation period. One case, how many other cases are getting? The first case is the primary case. The other, how many whoever are getting infected, they are considered as the secondary attack rate. And this developed to measure the spread of the infection within the family, household, or any closed aggregate of persons who have had contact with the case or disease. That means it is not applicable to the community. It is within a family. One primary case there, or something like a barrack sort of thing, or where it is a closed group of persons who are exposed to the primary source. Okay. And secondary attack rate, I have already told this. Number of exposed persons developing the disease within the range of incubation period by total number of exposed or susceptible contacts into 100. The primary case is excluded from both the numerator and the denominator. In our previous example, we had 3, total 4, 3 were exposed. For example, that is a family of 6, same thing I have taken, consisting of 2 parents who are already immune and 4 children who are susceptible to a specific disease, in this case measles. There occurs a primary case, and within a short time 2 secondary cases among the remaining children, that is among the 3, 2 are infected. The secondary attack rate we have already calculated, it has come to 66.6%. And now uses, how it helps to measure the spread of infection within a family, household, or any closed aggregate of persons who have had contact with a case or disease. And vaccines and non-vaccines from several families, vaccinees and non-vaccinees from the several families can be added to determine the overall attack rates in the vaccinated and the unvaccinated population. So you know whether it is a vaccine preventable disease. Okay. To determine whether a disease of unknown etiology, for example, we'll take Hodgkin's, is it communicable or not? So you know very well there is one case of Hodgkin's, and then you see it is not spreading to the others within a specified time or something. You can as well say it is non-communicable. And also to evaluate the effectiveness of control measures such as isolation and immunization. So coming to the limitations, when the primary case is infective over a long period, for example TB, duration of exposure should be considered. So number of contacts developing tuberculosis by number of person weeks or months of exposure is what we take when we discuss about secondary attack rate in a prolonged or a chronic disease, communicable disease. And here another limitation of secondary attack is identifying susceptibles. It is feasible only in diseases such as measles and chickenpox, where history can be used as a basis for identification. So otherwise we can't come to a decision about the secondary attack rate. Where there are numerous subclinical cases also, secondary attack rates has a limited meaning. That means many may be attacked, but everybody is not showing the clinical signs and symptoms. Further spread cannot be measured without laboratory investigations. A new screening test for a certain disease was administered. This is the third problem we are dealing. A new screening test for a certain disease was administered to 480 persons, 60 of whom are known to have the disease. Test was positive in 50 of the persons with disease, as well as in 20 persons without the disease. Now here our job is to calculate the sensitivity, specificity, positive predictive value, negative predictive value, and percentage of false positives and percentage of false negatives. So we make a 2 by 2 table. We have disease positive, disease negative, and the total, and in the horizontal thing and the vertical thing, and in the vertical we have test positive, test negative, and then the total. So in this case, test positive, this is positive is 50, that is A, and false positive were 20, B. Total is coming to 70, A plus B this is. Test negative is 10, this we call it C, and it is false negative. And 400 is D, that is true negative. That is 410 is the total negative cases, including positive and negative. False and true, that is false negative and true negative. So total cases A plus C is 60 and B plus D is 420. Total is 480. This is the 2 by 2 table. Sensitivity is A by A plus C into 100. A is 50, A plus C is 60, into 100 is coming to 83.34. This is the sensitivity. So this is a sensitive test or not, we have to calculate this way. Specificity is whether this is specific to a particular disease or not. This is D by B plus D into 100. That is 400 by 420 into 100. That is coming to 95.23. Positive predictive value is A by A plus B into 100. That is A is 50, B is 70. So A plus B is 70, B is 20 then. Into 100 is 71.42. And the positive predictive value is 71.42. Negative predictive value is D by C plus D into 100. That is 400 by 410 into 100. That is 97.57. Percentage of false positives is B by B plus D into 100. That is 20 by 420 into 100. That is coming to 4.76. And percentage of false negatives is C by A plus C into 100. That is 10 by 60 into 100. That is 16.7. Thank you.